Hey, what's going on, people? Hope you guys are doing good. Today, we're gonna be talking about 5 must-have accessories for the Galaxy S23 Ultra. Now, if you don't have an S23 Ultra, that's okay. Most of these accessories, or all of these accessories, are compatible with older Galaxy devices, such as the S22, S21, and possibly even the S20. So make sure to check out the links in the description to see if you can use any of these awesome accessories for your Galaxy device, even if you don't have an S23 Ultra. Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and dive into the first accessory, which is something for the camera on the S23 Ultra, and I really think you're going to like it. So this right here is the Home M6, and it is a smartphone gimbal. But before you click off, because I know smartphone gimbals are a dime a dozen, this one you're gonna wanna stick around to see, because unlike traditional smartphone gimbals that make you rely on their app in order to gain access to all the really cool features like tracking, this gimbal allows you to use your native camera app and you still get all of that AI-based tracking, and it works flawlessly. This right here at the top of the smartphone cradle, where you attach your smartphone to the gimbal, this is where all the magic happens. This right here might look like something that you've seen before, maybe like an RGB or CCT LED light that attaches to a gimbal. But on a closer inspection, you can see there's actually a camera built into this little attachment. Now, this module is where everything takes place. This is where all of the AI processing happens, and this is how it can detect your movements in order to turn on and off tracking. And all you have to do is just take it and attach it right to the top of the gimbal. The reason why this gimbal makes me so excited, and it should make you excited as well, is because all of the tracking is done on the gimbal with this little module versus the app. And I know I'm repeating myself here, but that's the biggest selling point. It allows you to use your native app, and this is especially useful for Android phones like the Galaxy S23 Ultra. The reason being is because if you use third-party apps, you don't get access to things like 8K video and a lot of other things like portrait mode video or portrait video. You can do all of that since you're using the native camera app while still gaining access to all of the great tracking capabilities because it's using the gimbal itself. Let me just give you an example instead of talking about it. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go ahead and open up the native camera app on the Galaxy S23 Ultra. I'm gonna switch to video, and then I'm going to make sure that 8K 30 frames per second is turned on. Now, we all know that you won't be able to record 8K 30 in any third-party app. That's how you can tell that I'm using the native app. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and tap record here, and I'm gonna go ahead and get in front of the camera. Now, in order to trigger the AI tracking, all you have to do is make an OK sign, and then now tracking is engaged. As you can see, it is tracking me. It is tracking me perfectly. If I get out of this chair and walk around, you can see it not only tracks side to side, but it also tracks up and down. You can see my handsome dad bod in full perfection. And this is why this gimbal is game changing. To stop tracking, all you have to do is hold up an open palm, and now I can move around freely and it's not tracking me. And what's great is if you notice that the framing is a little off with the AI tracking, you can easily adjust that by making 2 L's and it will reposition. So you basically put yourself in position on the frame and then you do the L's and it will lock that position and resume tracking. Now come on guys, tell me that that is not game changing. It's perfect for solo content creators, especially if you do a lot of filming on your phone. And it also works in portrait mode. Okay, so let's talk about the next accessory, and that's the phone case that I'm using. Something a little bit more easier to obtain, a little bit more affordable, and probably more practical for most people. Now, when I say more affordable, this case does cost anywhere between 50 to 70 bucks depending on where you get it and if they're running any sales. I'll drop a link down in the description so that way you can check for up-to-date pricing. It's not cheap, but it's one of the best cases that you can get for your S23 Ultra. Not only is it made of aramid fiber, I think I said that right, basically a form of carbon fiber that is a little bit more durable and more intricate when it comes to the process on how they weave it. It also looks great, it's very lightweight, but more importantly, it features MagSafe. And this is the standout feature of this case. So that means it's compatible with things like Apple's own MagSafe battery pack. And as you can see, it's not coming off. If I want to switch that out with something like this battery pack here from Anker, I could do that. So as you see, it's not falling off. And this battery pack happens to have a little stand. So if I flip this out and then set it down just like so, you can see it will hold itself up. But you also have access to things like Pitaka's own Mag Easy accessory lineup. So you have a nice little wallet here that you can just throw on the back of your phone. It will lock on. You can put a few cards in there and some cash. They also have things like this car mount. So if you want to put this in one of the vents in your car, you could do so, and it will just automatically lock on. There's also various other accessories that you can use, like things from MagBack, which I have in my Tesla. It allows me to take my Galaxy S23 Ultra and just lock it in right next to the monitor. There's various other accessories that you can pick up. Pretty much anything that says MagSafe is going to be compatible with this phone. Now the downside, and something that I'm sure someone is going to comment, is if you have a battery pack hooked up to it, so like this Anker one, and then I go to use the S Pen and try to take a note, so create notes, go ahead and expand this to make it full screen, like this, and I try to write in the center, you can see it's really not working. But the moment that I take off the battery pack and then write, it works just fine. So my answer to this, don't use the S Pen while you have a battery pack connected to your S23 Ultra, and you'll be just fine. Outside of that, I love this case. Like, it just looks great, it gives you great protection, it's very minimalistic, and it opens up the door for even more functionality thanks to all the MagSafe accessories that are on the market, including ones for the camera. You can magnetically mount the S23 Ultra to a tripod thanks to Molement's little MagSafe little disc things that attach to a quarter 20. It works flawlessly, and like I said, I love this case. I've been rocking Pitaka cases now for years on my Galaxy phones, and that's not about to change, and I definitely recommend that one. Next up, I have something for all of my DeX lovers out there. On the outside, this might look like a laptop. It's made by Dopesplay. If I set this down and then open it up, you can see we have a clamshell design, have a nice keyboard down here, have some speakers, a trackpad, and of course a display, which is powered on. It's a touchscreen, so if I take 2 fingers and then swipe down, it will actually bring me to the little menu right here. So I can adjust the volume, the brightness, the contrast, the saturation, and there's a couple different display modes in here. I can lock the orientation of the display and a few other things. If I shut this, we even have some I/O. So we have a USB-C port and then a mini HDMI port. On the other side, we have a power button, a micro SD card slot, another USB-C port which will charge this, and then a headphone jack. This has a built-in 10,800 milliamp hour battery, and while that battery size is massive and all that other stuff is pretty cool, this laptop has a special trick up its sleeve. So really, this isn't a laptop. It's more like a shell of a laptop, and what it can do is it can act as an external or portable monitor since it can completely fold backwards like so. So if you have this connected to say something like a MacBook Pro or a Samsung Galaxy Book, this will act as a secondary portable display, but the kicker is it has a keyboard and trackpad. Now what does this mean? It means if I take a USB-C cable, just like this one right here, and then plug one end into the Dopesplay, the other end into my Galaxy S23 Ultra, it's gonna start charging my Galaxy S23 Ultra, which is cool because it kind of acts as a power bank. But more importantly, if I go into my quick toggles and then toggle on DeX, look at that. I now have DeX on a laptop. And this is awesome because if you look at it, it's basically a Chromebook. I turned my Galaxy S23 Ultra into a laptop, and all I have to do is bring my phone, a cable, and this laptop shell. And I can go ahead and pull up my app drawer here, and I can start putting up multiple apps in different windows to multitask. Or if I want to do some video editing, I can launch LumaFusion, and it's going to fill up the screen and give me a traditional laptop-like experience when it comes to editing in a timeline. I can go ahead and close that. I can pull up CapCut if I want to get something quickly chopped up for social media, and everything is very responsive. There's no latency or lag issues with the trackpad because everything is connected through cable and not relying on a Bluetooth connection. Same thing with the keyboard. So if I launch, say, the Google app here, and then start typing on the keyboard, so I can do a search for Chris Rock. right? Everything functions great. I have some function keys up here at the top. I can control the brightness if I hold down the function key and then toggle down the brightness. I can toggle it back up. And by the way, speaking of brightness, this display does get up to 300 nits. It's a full HD or 1080p display. It looks really good. It has touchscreen functionality. And I gotta say, this entire setup right here blows me away. And if you wanna take it to the next level and get something like this, which is from STM. Now this was designed for the iPhone because it features MagSafe. And basically this attaches to your MacBook. You can hook up your iPhone to it through MagSafe, and then now you can use your iPhone as a webcam for the MacBook. But since we're using the Pitaka Mag Easy series case, we can actually use this with this dope display and connect it to the side of the laptop, making it even more of a seamless look. So I'm gonna go ahead and peel off this protective strip right here. I will fold down the dope display and I'll attach it to the side right here. So go ahead and push it down, lift up the little latch here, turn it to lock it, push it down, lift up the dope display, and through the power of MagSafe, we'll just connect it like that. And there we go. It is connected. I can swivel it around. It's not going anywhere. It's staying attached to the side of the dope display, giving me a super seamless look. Really easy, really portable, and I can access the camera through the app here. So we'll go ahead and go to Finder. We'll type in camera. Let's see, camera. And we'll launch the camera app. And check this out. Look, it's like my webcam, just like it is on the MacBook and the iPhone. I mean, come on. This is so dope. Like, it literally turns your S23 Ultra into a laptop, and it utilizes all the best parts of the S23 Ultra to give you a seamless experience. Oh yeah, and I almost forgot. If you have a micro SD card installed in the slot over here, you now have external storage. So you can offload photos, videos, music, audio clips, whatever you want onto the dope display and access it whenever you dock your phone. Come on, game changer, game changer. Now I gotta have something for all of my gamers out there. This is the Razer Kishi V2. I was a huge fan of the V1. I used it all the time, especially for Xbox Game Pass. When I found out they released a V2, and this one actually works more with regular Android games, such as Call of Duty, I was sold. So all you have to do is just take your phone, you slide it into the USB-C slot, and then move it back, and then boom. And you can see I do have the Pitaka case on, so I did not have to remove the case, which is great. Now I'm gonna go ahead and open up my phone. And one thing that I advise that you do if you pick up this case is go into the Google Play Store and download the Razer Nexus app, because this is what allows you to use this controller with games like Call of Duty. Once you download it, you can open it up, and then now you can browse your installed apps and then customize the touchscreen functions to match the buttons on the controller. So to prove to you that it works, because I know the original did not work with Call of Duty, let's go ahead and launch Call of Duty. So the key is to launch the app inside of the Razer Nexus app. So I'm gonna go ahead and launch Call of Duty. I'll be right back in a second. Let's go ahead and let this load. Okay, so I got the game loaded up. Let's go ahead and give it a go. And look, it's working great. Yep. Now there were some people saying that the controls are too clicky or too loud. I don't really see that to be the case. Like, they don't sound any louder than like a regular gaming controller, so I'm completely fine with it. I really don't have any gripes about that. I wish the joystick was a little looser. Like, maybe that will break in over time, but overall, for a gaming controller for the Galaxy S23 Ultra, this is great. Like, I have zero regrets picking this thing up. So let me know what you think of the Razer Kishi V2 controller while I wrap up this game. Now, last but not least, I have something really exciting. I have a pair of AR glasses. So this is how you can bring a little bit of AR to the Galaxy S23 Ultra. Now, in terms of being true AR, these are more entry level, so they're not gonna give you the same capabilities that more expensive AR glasses will give you, such as the ability to interact with your environment and see things that are positioned in your environment. That's not really how these are meant to be used. These are meant to basically give you a full-on theater-like experience in glasses. So that way it's more private You can use it on a plane and be able to have an immersive experience with content while not distracting the people around you. And that includes the speakers, which have blown me away. So all you have to do is just put these on, and then you connect them to your Galaxy S23 Ultra. And from there, you can either game and just use the phone as is. You can watch content through the YouTube app or Netflix or any other streaming service and just have a really immersive experience. Or you could even boot up Dex with these and use these with Dex, which works amazing. Like, these glasses are fantastic. I can't tell you too much about them, but that's because I have a full dedicated video coming out next week on these and how they work beautifully with the Galaxy S23 Ultra. So make sure to stay tuned for that. What I can tell you is that this is the equivalent to around a 215-inch display. It's 120 hertz and it's 1080p. But the thing is, you would never know that this is 1080p because the image is just that clear. I use these every night now while I can't sleep and I'm sitting up in bed and I wanna get a little bit of gaming in. I just put these on and then I can game on my Steam Deck, whether it's some desktop titles, or I can play Call of Duty on my Galaxy S23 Ultra, not bother my wife. And since the speakers are located right next to your ears, you can actually have a fully immersive experience with sound without distracting your partner next to you while they sleep. And I definitely appreciate that, especially with the newborn. So there you go. That was 5 must-have accessories for the Galaxy S23 Ultra. This phone is incredible. And with these accessories, you can get even more functionality out of it and be able to do more things, I promise. So if you're interested in picking up or checking out any of those items, links can be found in the description. Let me know if you have any questions and I'll be sure to get back to you as quickly as possible. With a newborn, it might take a day or two, but I promise I'm on it. Other than that, I really appreciate you guys watching this video. Take care, and I will see you beautiful people in the next one.